Natasha.
Debbie.
Show.
The show.
Welcome to it. Just two patriotic girls.
Learning about the world.
So please, don't take us the wrong way.
Welcome to the show. As you know, we are getting ready for our trip to the United Kingdom.
Well, not getting ready, but we're planning it,
We
right?
are planning.
That made it sound like we're coming in like a week or
True.
two.
Sorry about that. We are still in the planning stage of our trip for the United Kingdom next year. And we are looking at different places to go, different places to stay.
Different places to check out and see things do.
Absolutely.
And also what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into any more, if you guys like the content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. But
check out our content. Make sure you want to be a part of our channel before you subscribe.
absolutely. So, if the shirt doesn't give it away, a lot of people have said, hey guys, don't come to London. Don't go to London. All tourists do is go to London. Well, we heard you when we first started this channel, and we actually didn't look at London. We still have only looked at London a couple times now.
Yeah.
We've looked at a lot of other places, and if you don't know what those places are, go back and look at our videos. We've looked at some really awesome, amazing, incredible places in the
We sure
UK.
have, and we're going to continue looking at those places that are not necessarily London. But of course, when we come to the United Kingdom, we absolutely have to go to London.
Yeah.
At least for a little bit.
Well, for one thing, we're flying into London.
Right.
And we plan on seeing London. It's like doing a tour of the US and not doing New York City. And not doing other places.
We want to tour it all.
We want to see as much as we can, and we absolutely want to come to London. Of course we do. So we're going to be going, and we want to know, what do we not do? So that's where this video comes in. And this was sent to us by a couple different of our patrons on Patreon. Check it out if you haven't already. We have exclusive content on Patreon that only patrons get. And this is called 10 Mistakes Tourists Always Make in London. And we don't want to be those people.
We sure don't. And this is one of Evan Edinger's videos, and we've done a couple of his before, and we like what we saw.
Yeah.
So we're going to learn what Evan has to tell us to not do that everyone else does.
And you let us know in the comments if you agree with him, or if there's other things you'd add to this list, or even take away from the list. But it's time for us to find out. What do we not do in London? Let's see what the mistakes are that tourists always make.
Welcome to the city of London. Yes, of course, it's raining. Over 20 million tourists descend upon this historic city each and every year, and you very well might be one of them.
Yes,
hopefully on a day a little bit better than this. Now, my name is Evan Edinger. I've lived here for over 10 years, and today I'm going to be helping you not make the same mistakes that every tourist makes upon visiting the city. So hopefully you can get the most of what the city has to offer. So first big mistake, staying in zone 1 for accommodation. London is a massive city, and a lot of tourists wrongfully assume that they need to stay somewhere near the center of the city so they can see everything. But there's a couple big issues with that. It is a really large city, so no matter where you stay, you're going to end up having to travel at least a little bit to get to some places you want to go to. The public transit here is amazing. This ain't America. Provided you're within a 10-minute walk of your nearest underground station. Actually, now that I think about it, that's probably my biggest tip. Wherever you stay in London, make sure you're within a 10-minute walk of an underground station. And then the whole of the city opens up to you. You can get anywhere you want really quickly, even at 10 Downing Street. Oi, Rishi.
That's not really where he's at.
Rishi,
Come on.
you snack. Let me in. Every tourist is already pretty familiar with Covent Garden, St. Paul's, Kensington, and the like, but you're already probably...
We're not. I mean, I've heard of Covent Garden. I know Kensington because Freddie Mercury lived in that area, but I don't know what he's referred to. We still have a lot to check out in London.
We sure do.
We have a lot to check out, period, but I don't know.
Is already pretty familiar with Covent Garden, St. Paul's, Kensington, and the like, but you're already probably going to be visiting those places anyway, so why not develop a more intimate connection with an area outside of the standard touristy zones? But who else can say that they've stayed in Fulham? People in Fulham don't even want to tell you that. Just replace Fulham with Balham or Clapham or any of those other parts. Plus, I haven't even mentioned how expensive it is to stay in Zone 1. It's a no-brainer. You save money, get a better connection with an area outside of the touristy spots. Don't stay in Zone 1.
I don't know what Zone 1 means. I assume that's just like the middle of London,
And now
right?
for mistake number 2, which really goes hand in hand with mistake number 1. We already talked about how you shouldn't really be staying in Zone 1 for accommodation, but you also shouldn't be spending the majority of your time here, especially in all of the touristy locations, such as Leicester Square, where I'm right now. Now, there's no doubt if you...
Let's just say we already don't plan on sticking in that area. We are going out to
I was going to say it if you hadn't.
Hopefully very little people go
We
to.
are not those people that like to do the touristy things everywhere we go.
Yeah, don't like the crowds.
No, Debbie and I tend to go off the beaten path. And we try to talk to people that are local in whatever areas we're at and be like, okay, what's the cool place to go that no one else really goes to?
Exactly.
And we always find the better places. Now, I'm not saying we wouldn't do some of the obvious tourist stuff, but we will.
Yeah. And
good
like
one.
I'm seeing down here in this photo, Candyology. That sounds like a great place to go.
Candy, what is it?
Ology.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ology?
Well,
Candy
that's how I'm reading
logo?
it. I don't know.
You don't have your glasses on, do you?
No, I don't. It's bright and colorful. I want to go there.
You've heard of London, you've heard of Leicester Square, or even Oxford Street, the busiest shopping street in all of Europe. However, what used to be a great place full of individual little shops and places to pick up things has now become essentially an amalgamation of different overpriced American candy stores and other tourist traps that you really shouldn't be spending any time in.
Yeah,
Especially
I don't
in
have
the
that
evening,
interest in
this
that.
place is absolutely packed, but it plays an incredibly important role in London society, which is to make sure all the tourists go here so that we have a little bit more space in the rest of the city doing things we actually want to do. So instead of walking down American Candy Street, why not try out nearby Carnaby Street, which still has a lively vibe with actual shops.
And we saw that in the Christmas in London video, and I did want to go there, and I'm glad to hear it's not, I'm sure it's still touristy, right? But not as much. Okay, cool.
And good food. Or instead of Leicester Square, why not try out Seven Dials, one of the most beautiful parts of inner London. It's right next to Covent Garden and has one of my absolute favorite pizzas in all of the city. That, of course, being Home Slice. You gotta try it. As a guy from New Jersey, I can attest those big pizzas are well worth the 20 quid. But you'd also be making a mistake not to venture out of the center of the city at all. London has so many beautiful parks, and each one has its own vibe that you can just go pick one for the day and explore, and you'll have a blast.
What do you even do in Leicester Square?
You go to premieres, pretty much, that's it.
What about the M&M store?
I've been in there once and I didn't buy anything.
Assuming you're flying into London Heathrow, one of the big mistakes I made when I first moved here was booking a minicab to take me from the airport to my accommodation in Tottenham. And that rang me up 75 quid, nearly $100 back in the day, when if in reality I'd just taken the Piccadilly line per se, it would have cost me a little bit around a fiver.
Wow.
Yikes. And at the time, I didn't even have any suitcases because Air Canada lost them. So really, big L's coming out of it.
We got friends
However,
picking us up,
obviously,
so we're good.
price aside, the big reason to get a black cab, Bolt, or an Uber or whatever would be for the comfort. Yes, you get to have a cab all to yourself. It is a bit pricey, but
We're doing a black cab, though. I have an obsession with those things. We're actually going to do a whole video on that soon.
Yes.
I love those
We're
cabs.
definitely riding in one.
Absolutely.
At some point.
I don't care how much it costs. I don't want to ride in a black cab. Sorry.
or whatever, would be for the comfort. Yes, you get to have a cab all to yourself. It is a bit pricey, but it's comfortable. Now, if you're thinking you want to get one because it might be faster to get from point A to point B with one of those, actually, from my experience, most of the time, I think I'm gonna book a cab because I don't want to be late, and then it gets stuck in London's horrendous car
it'd be like
traffic.
New York City.
It would have been way less stress-inducing and way cheaper just to get the underground. And that's enough about that. That's dreadful. Taking the TFLs. Also, while you're here, if you want to blend in, instead of pronouncing it with a T, say tube. Like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I still don't like it. Now, originally, the mistake I was going to talk about here was that a lot of tourists don't realize that in between certain tube stops is only like a 5-minute walk, so you might as well just get out and see something new. However, while filming this video, I've seen so many tourists make some just crucial mistakes that I feel like just doing a PSA and adding 2 additional ones here. So first off, if you're a tourist and you're in a central area in the evening, you can't mistake it. You'll see a rickshaw / tuk-tuk, or hundreds of them passing by, blaring excruciatingly loud music, and do not get one of these.
I don't have any
Londoner
desire
will be
to.
caught dead in one. They're pretty much a tourist trap. And if you're unaware, it has been in a legal battle for the last decade, and nobody seems to care. But essentially, they're completely unregulated by TfL. So if you, a tourist, go, oh, you know, it'd be nice listening to Despacito while my eardrums burst, and we go down Oxford Street in a little rickshaw. That sounds fun. How? Oh, you know what else is fun? 100 pounds. Oh, that sounds pretty cheap for only a mile. How about 180, 500 pounds? Is that good for you? I'm not making these numbers up. There's been more than enough stories of tourists being scammed because the rickshaw drivers can charge whatever they want. So just don't get in a rickshaw.
How's that? Okay, he said legal battle. I was gonna say, how's it legal? It's not, I guess, in a way. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I would never have any desire to do that. It's not something I'd be interested in. The black cab is where I want to spend my money. But that sucks, but it's good to know that.
Definitely good to know. Don't get in one.
I'm going to ask all the friends of mine that have been to London if they did.
If they did it.
And then be like, you're an idiot. But they didn't know. Okay, fascinating. Huh.
might see these red phone booths behind me and your heart will swell. Thinking
They
of
don't
Dave from
work, I
Macau
know.
and his amazing trip to London.
been
He has
repurposed.
some photos inside of some of these. Don't be like Dave. Dave probably still smells of piss. The scent doesn't quite wash off. You can take a photo next to one of these, sure, get your
What?
gram,
We're going
pose
in.
next to it, look all aesthetic, whatever you want to do. But the second you open that door, it's like opening a hot oven, except instead of heat, it's a smell of hot piss. So maybe just don't do that.
No, I'm
Okay,
doing
find
it.
out.
Is he right? That's breaking my heart.
I would think he's probably right. I would not open the door.
You guys see it?
Don't step inside.
You can't. It's
Open
up there.
the door, but don't step inside.
No, I want to. Are you crazy? Those things are awesome. Americans love those. If you don't know that, we absolutely love these things.
We do love them.
We don't
but-
even have telephone booths at all anymore. They're gone.
No, we don't.
They're gone. You might see one or two in the country, but
If it smells like an outhouse.
I don't
no,
care. I'll hold my breath.
No. Okie dokie.
Is he right?
You
Let us
first.
know. Well, maybe they're in other. Okay, but please tell us he's wrong. I feel like I just got kicked in the heart.
No. We'll just take Lysol.
A mass.
So you came to London and you went inside of one of these things. It's really gonna piss me off.
I'm
So-
sorry. I have to.
No, don't do that.
I'm doing it.
Crime.
Doing it.
Mistake number 5. They commit crime.
That's pretty nice.
Okay.
Well, before we move on to some food-related mistakes that I see tourists making time and time again, you may want to make a day trip out of the city during part of your visit. And they say a man is bored of London is bored of life, and I do agree, but the rest of the parts of the UK are also pretty stunning.
We got that
if you
covered.
want to take a trip out to Henley or Brighton or any other cute little towns like Cambridge outside of London, they're well worth a quick visit. We've all heard the stereotypes. British food is extra bland. You know who made those stereotypes? All the people that decided to go to the most touristy looking pub in the world next to Westminster Abbey and went, oh, this food doesn't taste too good.
Really?
Really? Really? If you're going to go to a place who advertises and says, real British pies and fish and chips served here, you deserve to have a microwave meal.
Now,
okay?
everyone's told us to not, you guys know I love fish and chips. It's like my default. I order at any restaurant that's new because I don't trust their food. I'm like, you have fish and chips? Okay, cool. Everyone said do not get fish and chips in London.
No.
And we plan on going to Whitby, and
Yes.
that's where I plan on getting fish and chips. Not only Whitby,
Probably every
everywhere
place we
else.
go.
But I still think I'm going to do it in London anyway, just to compare.
Yeah, that way you can compare.
Yeah,
You can
I mean-
say, yeah, true. Don't eat fish and chips in London.
Well, that'll make me sick, but there better be mushy peas or I'm not touching them. But I'm just curious if you guys agree with that. And maybe that's where he's going with this.
British pies and fish and chips served here, you deserve to have a microwave meal. Okay? I'm giving you the tip here though. Don't go to those types of places. If you're going to go to a pub to have some really good pub food, just do a little bit of research beforehand. Don't just walk into any place that says dumb tourists accepted here. Maybe look up the places on Google reviews. Make sure it's not a Spoons. Weatherspoons is a chain of pub that serve really delicious microwave meals. So
Really?
I would make sure that it's not a Spoons. You can go there, it's really cheap, but it's kind of like saying I went to Taco Bell for the most authentic Mexican food ever by saying I went to Spoons for good pub food.
Got
Just
it.
Not necessarily the place you want to go. Now, if you are in Central and you're like, but I do want to go to a nice pub, well, there's Waxy O'Connor's near Piccadilly Circus. It's kind of like if an Irishman went, I want to build a pub, but I also want to build a treehouse. And then says, why is my accent so shite? That would be the place you'd go. It's lovely, it's huge, it's beautiful. There's live Irish bands every Friday. Really love Waxy O'Connor's for a central big pub.
boat.
And if you want to have a drink on the Thames, maybe, Riverside, another central place. It's called the Anchor, and it's near London Bridge. And lastly, a place I used to frequent when I worked in Covent Garden, so it's very central. You've got the Lamb and Flag, one of the oldest pubs in all of London, and one of Charles Dickens' favorites.
Oh, cool.
Also, it's quite cool because the tunnel to get there is so short that I, as a 6'4" man, really have to crouch to get in, but it makes it more fun, especially when you're inebriated. But the main reason to not frequent too many central pubs?
This costs £7.50 each.
Northerners are having a heart attack right now. The next big mistake tourists make in London is eating only English food. Sure, pub food can be great depending on where you're going, but London is one of the most diverse cities in the world, and it has the cuisine to prove it. Fun fact, did you know that there are more Indian restaurants in London than in Mumbai in India?
Oh, wow.
That's the real deal. Indian food in London is an
No,
experience.
there's more than
Now, if you're someone that,
India.
for instance, isn't that big a fan of spicy food, don't worry. A lot of the Indian food here was made with the palate of the Brits. So basically the national dish at this point, the chicken tikka masala, is one I highly recommend, is a nice smooth curry that's not too hot in the slightest. You can also go for butter chicken or chicken korma, but do try and get any old Indian takeaway, and there's a good chance it'll be better than where you're from, especially if you're from the US. It's kind of like saying,
We had it at the same time.
I don't like Indian food. I never have. There's like chicken, I can't remember his
Tandoori.
or something like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Korma curry, I can kind of deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like curry. I've said that before. I just don't. And I just some people criticize me for saying that in the last video that we did the food tasting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, you know,
You
it's
like it or
a
you
personal
don't.
choice. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of things that people don't like that the average person does.
Exactly.
Like, you know, but
Right.
I don't. So that wouldn't be something I'd be interested in. I might try it here and see what the difference is.
Sure.
It would be interesting to find that out.
Mexican food in the UK is bad, because it very much is, but in the US it's better. We have the argument here for Indian food. Now, like I said, pretty much any Indian restaurant you go to, you're going to get a good time. However, if you want the true London experience, you've got to go down to Dishoom. Dishoom is by far one of the most delicious Indian foods you can get in the city. There's usually a huge queue to get in. Dien, you should wait for it. If your curiosity will get the better of you.
Try the gunpowder potatoes. Okay.
Now, this next mistake is probably the easiest way of spotting a tourist from an actual
Wearing the
Londoner.
shirt.
Using a paper ticket on the underground. Stop. Just
Oyster
stop
card.
it, okay?
We
It's not
learned that.
$19.99 anymore. You don't have to fear modern technology. Y2K, it never happened, okay? You can use any contactless card from most any major bank. Just tap it on, you're good to go. It's smooth sailing. You even got your Apple Pay and all of your other weird pays. Google Pay, Samsung Pay, all the stuff, that's fine. Just tap on in, move on through. No worries.
Do you guys still recommend the Oyster card? I saw, I was looking through this to get this video pulled up. There was a short underneath of it, and it said, stop using Oyster cards. So do you still recommend that? We did a video on the London Tube and how to write it months back, like I think the end of last year.
Right.
And they talked about the Oyster card a lot. So necessary? Not? Let us know. Because I don't know.
One likes having to wait behind some idiot that's using one of these stupid tickets as they try and fumble it through and the whole thing is causing congestion, and boy, just stop. Also, you're like, oh, but it saves me money. It doesn't. Actually, these things cost you more money because if you're using your contactless card, if you're using your Apple Pay, there's actually a cap placed on the total amount you can spend depending on what zones you're going through. So it just makes sense. Use a contactless card, use an Oyster card, use an Apple Pay. It all works. Now, to throw my girlfriend under the big
you guys
red
have iFly? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah.
We have that here,
Indoor
like
skydiving.
right up the street, the indoor skydiving thing. That's funny. Didn't know.
We
Not
will
doing
not
that.
be doing that.
An
Nice
Oyster card.
disclaimer.
Use an Apple Pay. It all works. Now, to throw my girlfriend under the big red bus, when she first started visiting me in London from Marlow, she would get a Zones 1 to 6 travel card. If you're a Londoner, you're already laughing because I don't live in Zone 6, but she thought because she's commuting from outside of Zone 6, that would save her money. No, it's like no. We can all laugh at her pain, okay? The actual thing would be she's commuting into Zone 1, and since I live within Zones 2 and 3, she can get a Zone 1 to 3 travel card if we really plan on going wild and traveling on the TFL that week, but usually not. So there you go. Don't get the Zone 1 to 6 unless you're living or constantly visiting someone out there for some reason. I used to work in this building up on the 3rd floor, right down the road from St. Paul's Cathedral. When you descend into one of the underground stations and your train finally pulls up to the platform, you might get the overwhelming urge to listen to the sign on every single carriage that says, push button to open door. Don't do it. You're just gonna look stupid. Because if you can believe it, the doors open automatically. The driver has a button that opens all the doors simultaneously, so you'll just be looking a bit stupid trying to push the button when the driver hasn't opened the doors yet. Why is that a thing? I don't know. That's an underground fact for you. But it is just on the underground, so if you are on the DLR, National Rail, or the Overground, by all means, push the button or you'll be left on the platform.
If it says to push the button, I'm pushing the button.
If it says not to push the button, then I'll push the button.
I'm pushing the button.
She loves pushing buttons.
But while I'm here, in Hyde Park, I guess, why not tell you a couple other quick London Underground mistakes? I'm assuming you know this already, but just in case you don't, please stand on the right side of the escalator. Do not stand on the left side of the escalator.
Yeah.
No, you guys told us this in the comments. The videos we did on the tube, didn't mention it, but in the comments, thank you for that. We learned. Otherwise, I'd be trampled.
Yes, we did learn that one. Stand to the right if you're standing.
Yes.
Left is for
Which is
passing.
hilarious because we do nothing like that here. It's just
We're supposed to do that on the roads, but there's no etiquette on the escalators or motor walkways.
But thank you guys for letting us know that. Appreciate that.
If you're on the underground, just move to the right. Just stand to the right.
Spider-Man.
That allows normal people that want to walk up the stairs or walk down the stairs to do such. They do so on the left. So keep to the right or you'll be getting tutted at quite loudly. And I guess the final one, this is an unspoken rule. pun intended. But you're not really supposed to interact with strangers on the underground. Just everyone's keeping themselves, got their AirPods in, reading a book, or I don't know, playing music on their speakers for some darn.
I can't do that. I'm incapable.
I was just gonna say there's no talking. You only talk to me.
I'm not capable of this. I'm gonna be looking at you going, look at me. I'm gonna be like, there's somebody next to me.
I really want to say
I need
hi.
to speak to them. What do I do? Debbie, look at me. Keep your eyes on me, Debbie. What do I do? There's somebody right there. I need to say hi. Hi, sir. I'm American. Oh, crap.
No, Natasha, right here, right here.
I can't do it. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna make as many friends as humanly possible.
Should we walk us through? Hi, American here.
We're done. Sorry.
Reason. But the rule is you're not really supposed to speak to strangers, but honestly,
I'm doing it.
I don't know. It's nice to have a chatty tourist every once in a while. But too often, I don't know. I've become too much of a Londoner. I moved here as an American and I was like, how's it
still an
going?
American.
Nice day in London, innit? And now I'm like, listen, I'm trying to increase my Spanish streak right now. Could you not? I guess if I had to cut one of the rules out of this video, that is one tube E forgotten. These are getting worse.
Yeah.
My train of thought has left the station. Deplatformed me. So here I am at Big Ben. This is the
St. Elizabeth
famous
Tower.
one and only clock tower in London. Pretty much an icon, recently been refurbished, looking pretty stunning. Except it's not actually Big Ben.
I know.
Big Ben is the name of the bell within the clock tower known as Elizabeth Tower. But if you say to someone, oh, I went to Big Ben, they know what you're talking about. Language evolves,
St.
we all
Elizabeth
know
Tower.
it's actually the name of the bell, and nobody really cares about that at the end of the day. But you do need to make sure you say certain landmarks in London by their correct names, because you could wind up at the wrong place. Such as, here I am next to London Bridge, the famous bridge you know of in London.
No, it's not.
Except this
Tower
isn't
Bridge.
London Bridge, this is Tower Bridge. This bridge is the one you actually want to go to because the actual London Bridge.
Before he says, we haven't done a video on Tower Bridge, and I don't know anything about it. In the comments, let us know if you would like us to. I have one saved, but I didn't know if you guys wanted us to. I'd like to know before we visit
Yeah, I
it.
would love to learn more.
So let us know.
This is Tower Bridge. This bridge is the one you actually want to go to because the actual London Bridge, you're going to be incredibly underwhelmed.
That's it?
Yeah, this here is London Bridge. Don't get the name.
It's not the original one, though.
You don't want to wind up here. It is only like a 10-minute walk, but still. Now, the Millennium Bridge is a very touristy bridge in London, but it still works. It's got lovely shots over St. Paul's, and Londoners are still pretty upset after it had to be rebuilt after the Death Eaters destroyed it, but just don't bring that up. We're still hurt about it. And now, with all your newfound knowledge, you're going to blend in like a true Londoner. Unless you try and use cash on the buses or something like that. Oh God, I might have to make a part 2 for this. Well, if you're interested in that, please be sure to subscribe. And also, I made a video on the pros and cons of living in London, if that's something you fancy, so go click that if you're interested.
That was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I think it was very informative.
It was, and helpful. At the same time, I'm a little impressed with myself for knowing a thing or two.
I think we did know a thing or two.
We learned a thing or two. We still have a lot to learn. The whole thing you said about cash on the bus, don't know where he's going with that.
Just use your bank card.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure, but I wasn't sure if he was going to say, you know, like there's a certain kind of card you need for that. Can't you always use the Oyster card though for everything? I thought you could for the black cabs as well.
You can. And I think he might even be referring to not having the actual card, but have it downloaded on your phone so you can just.
Okay. How does that go? But the Oyster
know.
card though, let us know if it's something you recommend it. Again, I'm just curious, like for any of that stuff. I mean, it was so talked about in that one video we did. That was one dude. Who knows? I'm just really bothered by one thing on the list.
What's that?
Really, you don't know?
Yeah, the talking.
I'm talking to y'all.
Yeah, get used to it.
I'm getting a bullhorn.
Y'all
I'm coming over there with a bullhorn, and I'm gonna get on one of those double-decker buses that has the open top. I'm gonna be like, Natasha and Debbie show in the house. I'm not doing that.
Look out.
I'm doing it. You guys know I'm probably gonna do that, right? Like, hey!
It's gonna be so fun. I can't
Look for the
wait till we
crazy
get our-
blonde person. I'll make sure she colors her hair blonde.
It will be a great trip.
It will, and I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, people have put down London a lot, and there have been some people that are like, oh, don't say that. You know, still want to see London. We're going to see London. And I
Yes.
think I'm excited about it. We did a video on the parks, and I want to check out the parks.
Yep, we're going to check out the parks. We're going to check out all the other places in the United Kingdom. We're making our list. We're
Checking it twice.
going through and checking out different places that we want to visit.
Yeah,
And-
it's going to be hard to narrow down, like, what we
Oh,
are
it
not
is.
going to be able to do.
and I don't, there's so many places already.
It's going to be tough.
But London is on that list, so
Absolutely.
we will visit. Hopefully we won't stick out like sore thumbs other than My lovely wife talking to everyone she sees.
I do know not to wear like Union flag apparel. I've been told that that's a no-no.
Oh, I thought we were going head to toe like that one
Well-
outfit you got.
Let's rock and roll. We'll see.
We should one day. Just go out dressed out like tourists. It should
Maybe.
be fun. Let us know what you guys thought of this video. If there's anything you need that should be added, maybe you think that he forgot a thing or two.
And if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate it if you do. That was all fun. So hopefully you enjoyed watching it with us, and thank you for doing so. Until next time, guys, please love, like, jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye.
Bye.